3.7 today. Getting ahead of the clutch for when it gets here. I'm gonna do a few things. One of them was to preload my wastegate. My flapper arm door rod is twisting right here. What I did was loosen up the 2 nuts here on the wastegate, and I still have some room for adjustment, not much, but I already adjusted them. And the way you do this per Blake's email was you press the flapper door back here with your finger, you tighten this nut until you feel it like touching, and then what I did was grab a socket with a little yellow mark on top of it, and I did 3.5 turns because he said somewhere between 3 to 4 turns, so I decided to do 3.5. He said that should yield the proper cracking pressure. So that's the way it's set up. I went ahead and did both sides. Also, I'm gonna be installing this sack. Also decided to replace that. There's that fucking spec clutch. I'm gonna be installing the dual mass flywheel in the back of the motor. This flywheel only goes on one way. If not, the bolts won't even go on there. Right now I'm looking for that position just by pushing the flywheel and spinning it. I think it's right there. As you guys can see, I was turning the flywheel till I found the proper bolt holes. Now I want to confirm that by putting all the bolts through. These are OEM stretch bolts. These you have the torque down to 60 Newton meters plus 180-degree turn. There you have it. Now the flywheel's all nice and installed and torqued down. I put the pressure plate bolts here for now, just so I don't know, just have them in place for whenever the clutch does come in. This is the first transmission that I used on my manual swap. This one also had a leaky input shaft. This is the one that I repaired in my last video. And since it leaked a little bit, I'm just gonna go ahead and top it off. All I have to do here is remove the fill plug. I believe it's 2.5 quarts, which is what it needs. I already opened this up, but just to show you guys, I peeked my light in there. The oil looks really clean. The old oil, I also like turned it over a little bit. Right now I have it held up with this bearing right here to keep it as level as possible. As you guys can see, that motor mount is pretty flush with that one. To level it out from back to front. That way I can fill it up. Not sure if I showed you guys, but this is the other transmission that I just took out of my car. As you guys can see, the filled input shaft has caused a pretty strong leak inside of the bell housing, along with all the metal shreds that you see from the clutch disc crashing into the flywheel. These are the bolts and parts that I'm going to be using on this transmission. Well, when I had installed everything, I believe this is the clutch fork. It's fucking slipping my mind. I don't know what it is, but got the bolts in, the little thing that holds in the fork, the little other plastic that holds the fork in place. Lined up with the slave cylinder. Slave cylinder's tied down. So I got some oil on the transmission here, and then right here I kind of see some lettering, and it says Stasis OLL. Over here in the back it just says OLL. I don't know if they accidentally grinded it off here or something, or if they just put the OLL. I go to Google and I look up Stasis OLL transmission. Right away Audizine pops up with the Stasis transmission form. Go ahead and check this out, and it turns out that this is what seems to be a reputable O1E rebuilder, and a guy here is asking if it's worth the price. I think they went for $1,800 back in the day. I don't know when this was, and it looks like this is a rebuilt transmission internally, so that's pretty cool. Cool little find. And that is it for today's video. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next time.